This will be only about the second or third time that I've had a weekly video that's not wood turning. But I recently found something of significance that's important to me, and I thought I'd share it with you and let you know what I want to do with it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Wood Shop. Howdy, let's get to it. This is it. Now the story is, my sister Carrie had a boyfriend named Skip back in about 1957. They later married, probably about 58, spring of 58, something like that. Anyway, I went with them to Skip's mom's house to visit, I guess. I don't know. I was 10. I was 10 years old. They went off to do something, and I was left with Skip's mom, and she was the nicest lady that I can remember. She made me a sandwich, gave me a glass of milk, and then she gave me this Boy Scout knife. That's what she called it. I don't know if it is or not or what. I don't know. I can't really read anything on there except stainless steel. I see that. I'm thinking it's probably going to say Japan. I want to restore this as best I can using a few different tools and lubricants and whatnot, polishing compounds, and just see what we can do. Now, I broke 2 fingernails getting these things all out of here before I figured out I should get a little screwdriver and pry them out, because they're pretty well rusted in there. I think I gave this to my wife maybe 30 years ago. I don't know. I was recently cleaning out the shed, and there it was, and the shed was her work area, and it was just laying on top of the workbench. The problem is there was 100 other things on top of it. I've been looking for it for quite a little while, and I found it, and I remember the memories and the nice lady, and I just want to fix it up. So I'll show you what I'm going to use and show you a bit about how I'm going to use them and how we're going to fix this up. Now I have a Dremel tool with a wire wheel in it, and I've got some additional wire wheels. I've also got some polishing compound and some fiber brushes of some kind or another and some buffing wheels. So we'll be using all of this, but we're going to start with something a little more heavy duty on the wood lathe, actually. Now first and foremost, I don't want to do any real damage to this. I don't want to do any damage at all. So I'm going to clean up this knife blade because there's plenty of room to do it. But I don't want to wire brush this because I don't want to damage this. I don't know what that material is. It looks and feels like plastic, but I think back in 57 they used something else. I just can't remember the name of what it might have been. So we'll polish that in a different manner. But we're going to start with this knife blade and just clean off the rust and maybe shine it up a little bit, see how it responds to the wire wheel. And it does indeed say Japan right there on the blade. I thought that was going to be what it said. Now the blade is not sharp, so don't worry about that. It'll be sharp when we get done, but it's not sharp right now. Well, there's a little bit of pitting on there that's probably going to be there forever, and some pretty good staining that we might be able to buff out. I don't know. Some of it will go away, some of it will stay there forever. Okay, so that's the first blade, and we'll just move along. Looks like a can opener and a bottle opener. And this is a fine wire wheel that I'm using. It's not very coarse, so I don't think it's putting any additional scratches on there. And we'll move on to a Dremel tool here in a little while. I just want to get these larger blades taken care of. Get as much off of there as I can, as easily as I can. Now that one's cleaning up pretty good. So that's 2 down. Let me get that screwdriver out again before I break another thumbnail. Saw blade. Let's see what's next. Scissors. Now I have Swiss Army knives. I've always had Swiss Army knives, and that's what this is fashioned after, I guess. And the scissors are always what tickled me the most, I guess. You just don't expect them on a knife. Well, that cleaned up pretty good. And what's next? Another knife blade. But it locks there, locks in position there. So I think it's for, it's like a hook knife blade. Skinning an animal maybe, huh? Little rabbit stew. I think I got all the ones on this side. Okay, I'll move over here to this side. Start with the corkscrew. Well, I can get that out without the screwdriver. Now what's a Boy Scout doing with a corkscrew? I don't know. I suppose if you were a Boy Scout in Italy, you were probably born with one of these in your hand. Corkscrew. Now we're just getting started here. Most of this is going to rely on the Dremel tool. But we've made some pretty good progress. See what we can do about the stains on the spoon. My wire wheel's a little big to get in there. Okay, we will move along to the Dremel tool. Well, I guess we'll start here. Well, I feel like we have most of the rust off of here, so I'm going to do a little bit of polishing. I have this set of polishing compounds, and we're going to use the white one, White Rouge, to start with to see if that'll do it. I don't want to get any heavier than I have to. So the way you apply that is you have a little cotton buffing wheel. Then when you're done, you take a clean, soft cotton cloth and wipe it all off, and that'll bring out the shine. So I'll just continue working here on the different pieces. Now before I move on to sharpening, I've polished everything. Each blade is done. I've noticed that this one is kind of sloppy in here. The rest of them aren't, however. The rest of them on this pin. There's a pin that goes through all the way through each of these 4 blades up here. And I've noticed that this one is kind of sloppy. So I want to tighten that up a bit. So I'm going to lay it on this steel block. Take a punch. I don't want to do too much because I don't want them all getting too tight. That's much better. Now can I get the other ones out? Yep. Oh, that one got a little tight. It's okay though. Yep, that's much better than it was. Okay, on to sharpening. So there's really only 2 blades that need sharpening. This one and then that hook blade. I've got my belt sander set up in the horizontal position, and we'll just sharpen the blade. Well, that was easy. That brought it right up. Well, I noticed that one is a little bit loose as well, so I'm going to get my punch out and punch this pin a little bit until that tightens up. It's just a little bit wobbly. I hadn't noticed that before. I'll do that. I'll be right back. Well, there we have it. Oh, the only thing I didn't show you is the application of some very lightweight machine oil to each joint, each pivot point for each blade, so they all open smoothly now. I'm really happy with the way this came out. I wasn't sure how I was going to polish that, and what I did was after I wiped off the buffing compound from each blade, I had my cloth and I just buffed it real quickly. It just shined right up. Very happy with that because I didn't want to wear down the grooves or whatever these are in the scale, so I was worried about that, but it turned out good. Quite an improvement. I wish I had a before and after picture like I usually do with the turntable, but hopefully you remember what it did look like. Now it looks just about like it looked when I got it 65 years ago. So it'll be good to go for the next generation. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun for me to do. I haven't done anything like this in a long time. I'm so glad I found this. I just can't believe it. I wasn't even looking for it, but there it was. Very cool. Very cool. Thanks a bunch. We'll see you next week with a turning video. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Wood Shop, signing off.